Well, hello. Welcome to Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And listen, I am your host, Ayanna Smith. But you know what? We have someone that's very, I think that just blow your socks off. I mean, this person has a tea company and our profession is a social worker. But you know what? The biggest thing I like about what this guest probably have to say is talking about real estate investment. So if you are interested in becoming any of those things that I mentioned, and of course a plethora of other things that you will hear, because I just gave you the tip of the iceberg, just stay tuned and we will be right back to bring on our guest for the evening. All right. We are back. Listen, make sure you grab your notebooks, grab your pens, grab your crayons if you need to. But please make sure that you tune in, get a friend, because we want you to hear about this dynamic guest we have on Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And of course, first of all, I'm Ayanna Smith, your host, but I am a financial professional, life insurance broker. And of course, I help you to make and save money and all that. And I really love to talk to those professional ladies who need to get their things together and just put a bow on top, because I know, listen, we all just need to fine tune some things, gather up all of our money and figure out how to make more money. So without further ado, I can handle that. And of course, you see askayanna.com. You can connect with me through there, and all of my social media will be found there: Facebook, Twitter, X, all that, whatever they call it now, and YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we want to collect all of our great information over there on the dashboard, and you can see all of the videos at your fingertips. So with that being said, we are going to jump right in and bring our guest out of the virtual green room, because she just has a lot to say. And we're just going to have a conversation, because that's what girlfriends do. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to bring Miss Natalie Bryan to the stage.
Hey, how are you today?
I am so great. So glad that you are here all the way from the other side of the world. No, not really.
Yes, little Augusta, Georgia. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Augusta, Georgia, down south. Yes, the affinity of the down south. I'm a southern girl by nature. North Carolina and Virginia. Yeah, those are the two places that I've been swirling around for a few years. But
Yes.
how is it down in Georgia?
It's beautiful. Actually, the weather is really nice outside, but in general, I love it. I'm actually born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So how did I end up in Augusta, Georgia? The military. My brother-in-law is a retired master sergeant here, and I came down to support him and my sister when they first moved down with their littles. And it's just been an uphill journey since I left.
I love the littles. I refer to the children as the littles as well. How are the littles doing? I love it. So this is where you are. I love it. But you know what? Thankfully, the World Wide Web has us worldwide webbing, and we
Yes.
can really connect all over, because you are an all over the world
Kind of
person.
girl.
Yes,
Yes.
I love it. So you said no grass shall grow under your feet.
None whatsoever.
I love it. Well, let's give a little backdrop. You talked about that, you came from New York area. So I know we have some Northerners that watch
Yeah.
our show faithfully. So yes, shout out to the North because I have family that's in the North that migrated from the South to the North. And some of them have migrated back to the South because, they just couldn't stay away, I guess. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, here we are. So yes, so tell us a little background with let's just kind of jump in with what you want to share the best from your background.
Well, listen, I have been in health and human services and helping people over, my bio says 15, but honey, it is over 25 years. It's over 25 years. I've always worked with people. My parents are Jamaican. And so my mom was a single mom, but how she grew up in Jamaica, very, very poor. And from when I was little, I remembered she made us go back to Jamaica every year and we just gave to the people. We would bring clothing, we would bring food, we'll bring anything we can bring from New York and just gave it to the poor community. So that really started my passion for helping people in our community. And so every year that we went, the more I got into it, the more I got into interest of social services. And then I worked for New York State for about 11 years and then transitioned to Georgia, worked with our local hospitals, including the VA, and just did contract and mental health therapeutic work after that. So I am a licensed clinical social worker. So I do provide individual, couple, group counseling. And so that is the service that I provide to my community currently.
Wow, then that is awesome and it's needed. And I mean, we are still I think, in an era and
Mhm.
time frame where we need it more and more. But what I am grateful is that more people are becoming open
Yes.
for the therapy and that it is not a bad word. It
No.
is something that can help uncover and help us to see what's been
Absolutely.
underneath and all along. I think about volcanoes, tsunamis, all that stuff like that has what you say seismic activity going on.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when it explodes, you're like, well, what in the world was
What
it?
happened? Yes.
But it was always stuff going on underneath
Yes.
that we could not see. And this
Absolutely.
helps us to bring that out. So I am so glad that you do that work and that your mom made that connection and then that just bubbled up in your heart. So basically that's who you are because
Yes.
you gravitated to that. Yes.
I
And
I
who
love
I
people.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say and who I picked up when I met you is like, yeah, she's a people person. So
We
that's
gonna be friends.
absolutely because we love the people. We love to
Yes.
talk to them. We like to figure out what's going on. Can we help you and all that good stuff? Yeah, very very good. So with your that's your professional careers
Mhm.
because you have some more professional careers. That's what you. I would say people. I tell people. I said, look, I went to college for this.
Yes.
I have so that is connected to my passion,
Yes.
but that is not the only thing that I like to do or the only thing that I found that I'm good at doing.
Yes.
So how did you transition into I know like so you're a businesswoman,
Mhm.
you're entrepreneur, all that. So okay, let's talk about whatever one you want to bring up first.
I would call myself multi-passionate. Okay.
I,
multi
I love it.
I'm multi-passionate, but really and truly, like I said, my mom was a single mom. My dad was a builder. So a lot of things he taught her, she taught us. But one of the things I learned just from watching her was not to have all your eggs in one basket. So I learned early about diversifying what I wanted to invest in and how to keep things going when, it gets tight in one area to have income flowing in from a different area. And I didn't want that for myself. And I also wanted to create generational wealth for really my mother and my siblings. You would think that it would be for my children. I don't have any biological children. I do have some stepchildren. But I wanted to be able to break the glass ceiling of poverty in my family. Like I said, my mother grew up in a very poor condition. My grandparents had 10 kids and they literally lived in one room, like literally, like one room. And so when you have 10 children and two adults in one room, you know that you're kind of in a poverty stricken area. And so thankfully, my mother has always been, I don't know how she did it. She was just ingenious when it came to starting businesses and building businesses. And that is just something she instilled in my sisters and I since we were young. So, for example, she owned a beauty supply, she owned a laundromat, she owned so many things. So we would be 11, 12, 13, running to check cash-ins to cash coins, or going to Manhattan to buy here wholesale $3,000 in our bags, like, just doing things that other preteens and teens were not doing at the time. And so just watching her always reinvent herself to make it shake, you know, is just what I've learned. And one of my passions is real estate. I love houses. Even when I'm stressed out, my decompression tool is to go to an open house and I just walk houses. I just like looking at them. And so that that just was my thing. And then I just loved them. I started accumulating.
Wow. Did you all hear that? I just started accumulating them.
Yeah.
Some people accumulate socks and some people accumulate I'm messing now. Some people accumulate trinkets. She accumulates houses,
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah.
I love it. So absolutely. Now I do share the affinity with you. Like my mother always had architectural plan, housing plan books.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, that was the thing. You had a book of houses and how many square feet the house would be, and the layout of so we love to look at the layout of the floor plans. And my grandfather was he was like the carpenter, semi builder, but he did plumbing work and electrician. He was a certified plumber and electrician by the state of North Carolina. And so we all just kind of, I think, had that kind of engineering mindset. My sister can put together anything, so that kind of, but I love to look at house plans. And I think, you made me think about something. I see open house signs. I think it's time to start walking them.
Start walking them. I'm telling you.
So many ideas and
vision.
And get vision. Right.
Yes.
So with that just, I'm like, I said, I think I got a new thing going
on.
A
new little thing. Absolutely. Listen, when I'm a mental health clinician and I always talk about mental health wellness with other people, but we have to know ourselves, and when you find something that helps you to decompress life, and believe me, life is out here, and everyone's overstressed, pressed about finances, time, family, all the things. If you find some things that can help you to decompress, you should utilize them. And when I recognize my affinity for properties and utilizing like open houses to just take a look around, look at the things that I love about a property, catalog it in my head. You made me laugh just now when you said your sister. My mother had 4 daughters. So my dad didn't have any boys. And each one of us do different things. My sister Monique is very with the intricate details. So she put up our shelves, our blinds, and our little IKEA things. My sister Tiffany and I were more painting and plastering. And my baby sister Nicole, because she was the baby, she just came and finished things up. And so we just used to work together as a little team to make our houses and homes beautiful. And so those are the things now that we do. My sister says when I get in that mode, I'm in sweatshop mode. So they all start running. They were like, okay, she about to open the sweatshop.
Taskmaster.
Facts. It's all facts. I'm sorry. But we get beautiful work done when we put our minds to it. We do.
That is funny. Hilarious. You said, let's scurry. Let's get missing.
Yes.
Because Natalie the builder, we can build it, is on the loose.
It's on the loose. It's on the loose. And but one thing I do love about all the experiences that I have had, they have really blessed me to be able to recognize value where other people may miss value. So when I walk into a space, sometimes I look at things a lot differently than other people look at things. Where I can see potential,
Mhm.
people will only see problems. So
Mhm.
I'm able to navigate deals because of that. And so that has been a real benefit to me, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, like, wow, when you start talking, you hear yourself, because the first home that I bought was a home that was, I think, bank owned,
Hmm.
and the house was pink. The carpet was old shag,
Hmm.
70s carpet that had been, of course, after a while, shag carpet mats down and
Yes, yes.
looks very funny. And then, just just the place was old because it had been closed up, just had
Hmm.
been. And when I went with the realtor, I said, okay, I think this can work. And he was like, are you for real? I said,
Yeah.
yeah. Asked them to paint the house,
Hmm.
change the carpet, and see what else we can get the new flooring on the kitchen
Yes.
floor. And yeah, like,
This will work.
this will work. I mean, it was like, he's like, oh my goodness. I said, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that little bit, you can't say ill, because, like you said, there's some hidden gems. So
It's hidden gems.
yeah.
And and it saved me from, and just knowing some things also saved me. Like I can walk into a space sometimes, and I don't know if this is an asthmatic thing or just a Natalie thing, but I can almost pinpoint mold. So I'm
Yes.
always like, I'm always looking at things. People don't pay attention. They look at the beauty. They're not looking at foundation. They're not looking at roofs. They're not looking at eaves. They're not looking at gutters and all those things. Those are the things I'm looking at, the windows. And people are like, okay, well, what do you think? I'm not talking, but I'm just checking it off in my mind as I'm walking and paying attention to those things that a lot of people sometimes miss. And so a lot of that is taken into account when I do start to talk about things and negotiate deals and stuff like that. So absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And it does mean a lot. Exactly. It's a home on a crawl space. Is it on a slab? Has, termites, this and that. I mean, has all
Yeah.
that stuff been done? I know that's inspection stuff, but how
It's
has that
true
been
though.
over time? Am I almost falling through the floor? Can we fix it?
Important.
How is the bathroom? Is the floor rotting out because the toilet was leaking, and now it's that underneath stuff?
Yeah.
So yeah, that you have to pull the floor back and cut out and round, fix that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So those are the things. Yeah, you're right. Those are the things that, going in, if you're going to see the beauty or negotiate and stuff like that, then you have some negotiations to do when you can pick up the stuff that sometimes people try to cover
Yeah.
over.
Cover over, especially in the fast flips and stuff like that. That sometimes people miss. But I mean, I when I first got into real estate here in Augusta, and I love Augusta because there, to me, is a plethora of opportunity to build a really nice portfolio. And I've been working diligently over the past couple of years, and I've been able to accumulate, I think I'm at 12 doors right now. And most of that is commercial, not even residential. And so, and negotiated owner finance deals for myself. So I didn't even use a bank. I was self funded and kind of did a lot of negotiating on my own with the owners.
And see, and that right there is a very key part, because people say, what? Self-funded? What? What's
Yeah.
going on? Funded with the owners. You didn't use a bank? How do
No,
you not use a bank?
no.
How do you not use a bank? Because that's what we always, taught. That's the first thing,
Yeah.
to go that route. Nothing wrong with it, but oftentimes, if we know how to, like I said, if we know how to
Yeah.
maneuver with that in an appropriate way, we can probably get better deals. Have you found? I'll ask you this: have you found yourself to getting better deals, possibly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I can tell you, there have been some deals that I've picked up as low as $40,000. I I picked up a historical slave home, I think a couple of years ago, for like $28,000. Like it had the slave doors. It was a beautiful Victorian, really nice home. It needed a ton of work, but it sat on acreage. It had history, and it had so much potential. So, I mean, there are things out here that you can get. And believe me, when I said earlier, your network is your net worth, having really and building really good relationships that you protect with people
Mhm.
definitely opens you up to a lot more opportunity. You'll find deals coming to you sometimes where you're not even really looking for them. When I first came to Augusta, it was behind a divorce, and I didn't know what I wanted to do here really, and I was still trying to figure out what life was going to look like for me.
Right.
But 8 years later, great career later, 12 doors later, 6 books later, 4 businesses later, like, it's been a really great blessing being here. But um, I've built all of these things just through experience and knowledge, and really getting to know who my owner is and how we could benefit each other in our deals. And
Mhm.
so much so that one person that I work with, sometimes he's just like, Natalie, you know what to do, write the contract. I'll look at it and check it out. And I mean, I've not only had him, I not only purchase from him, but I've had others purchase for him that, he'll be like, just send it to me.
Right.
So to have that type of relationship sometimes is great, so it takes time, and you know what, you have to really work at building your communication skills and showing how the deal would benefit both them and yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. Relationship.
Hmm.
I've heard say, when you're talking about a relationship, it's like the ship means we should both be going somewhere,
Yes.
not it's just lopsided,
Yes.
So that's clear. If you have amassed this much, and you said most of it being commercial, do you find that that is to like better for you, the commercial,
Yes,
or
I found it better for me. I've helped others with residential, absolutely, but you don't have as much turnover or movement in more
Mhm.
commercial spaces. A little bit more solid, but I mean, I like accumulating either way. But
Mhm.
I found that the commercials have been great, and for me, it's been awesome to be able to offer other small businesses that are diverse, BIPOC, or small women businesses that may not have the finances for a big commercial space, but they
Mhm.
can work in a shared space I may have created, or one of the smaller units that I may have.
And shared spaces or co-working spaces are
Mhm.
very popular
Yeah.
and efficient. I mean, because you don't have to take on the whole overhead of the entire building and things of that nature. So that does, and then as the owner, it helps you to split up and
Hmm.
give people, like you said, the opportunity to get into something where they can have that business address and all that and start working their businesses. But as the owner, you are doubling, like even on the profit side, this
Hmm.
that profit margin is better because you can help, like I said, to take care of stuff or whatever you need to do
Yeah.
because people are paying you to to rent or what have you. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I love being able to help other businesses, especially small Black women businesses, because we kind of get a little bit of a tough way to go sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And any business owner knows that business is hard, but sometimes women in business struggle a little more because you're not looked at as an authority or a power at times, especially when it comes into spaces that are not usually occupied by women or women of color. So, even when you do inspections or you do things, sometimes people are always looking for the guy. They're not looking for you to show up or whatever. But
Right.
you know, so I mean, so there's still a ways to go. So having these opportunities where women can get, and not just women, but most of my clientele are small Black women business owners,
Mm-hmm.
that they can get a space that they find safe, they find sanitary, they find affordable, and they find that they can grow in, has been a benefit for me.
Well, that's your area. That's that's where you're finding your, it sounds like you're finding your passion and helping get underneath and grow, and pretty much it sounds like you're your mom, how you see you want to impart and
Yeah.
help show people that they can do it too, and
Hmm.
have a space and a place to do And so
Mhm.
that's awesome. I love it. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Oh, look, I'm like, clap, clap, clap. Look, do you offer, and let me ask you this, do you offer classes or
Mhm.
coaching or anything for
I
what you're
do offer some coaching, and I am in the middle of creating an ebook. I just am not opening calendar until the new year. But if people want to reach out, they can touch base with you, and I will have that calendar available that you can share if someone is interested in just having a session or two to talk or even brainstorm some ideas that they may be thinking about in regards to, property investment, just giving them some insight from someone with a little bit of experience of things they should be looking for, and I'm saying I'm self-funded. You don't have to be self-funded to be an investor. I know people who work with hard money, work with all different types of lenders to be able to do what they want to do. I kind of chose initially because I was coming from a divorce. It was a necessity that I was self-funded because my credit wasn't as strong or whatever. But then
Mhm.
after a while, I decided to stay self-funded because I found um, on some of my properties within the next year, on one, two, in 2 years, those things will be paid off in full. There won't be a loan on them. And so when you look at having something owned outright free and clear,
Mhm.
sometimes not having that huge bottom line is more attractive. So I just kind of stayed in this lane.
Wow. Yeah. And you have to do it what works. But that is also, like I said, most of the time we're so trained to go bank route, loan route until we
Mhm.
don't realize, oh, you may have something like the knowledge and have that ability to talk and have negotiated and have friends that are willing to go that route with you. So,
Absolutely.
so it's like the for sale by owner type of
Yes.
deal. When you see that, okay, so you negotiate with the owner and you figure out another way to cut just you and them working.
Absolutely. And you know what? As long as you are looking at talking to them about the things that are affordable for you, recognize there were deals that I could have had that probably I would have been able to amass a lot more. But when I ran the numbers about what I wanted it to look like for monthly payments for me, is what took precedence. If I found that there were things that I felt were going to be too astronomical for me, where I was solely dependent on the rent of this property, I didn't always jump into it. I
Mhm.
kind of came from the avenue of jumping in that I could afford this mortgage, whether there's a tenant there or not. So
Mhm.
that way, if something happens, I'm not solely in the red or put out because the tenant didn't pay their rent that month. So I know that the rental income is great, but sometimes you do have issues with tenants that you have to be aware of. So I try to give myself that flexibility that, like, hey, you know what? I can catch that on the next paycheck.
And see, that's what you say, the pro and con side
Mhm.
to looking at the ownership and all that. You still have to have sustainability
Yes.
and not jump out into something, just say, okay, I'll have a renter. But I remember hearing, some of the stories about some of my friends that had
Hmm.
properties uh, when nobody could pay the rent,
Yeah.
and there they were
Yep.
because they were fine as long as, then the pandemic hit, and it was like
Yes.
people's situation changed,
Hmm.
and the banks didn't care, like
They didn't.
still want our money.
Wanted their money. They didn't want it. They didn't want any stops. They still wanted their checks. Some gave you a little bit of reprieve, but a lot of people noted that once they did kind of get out of that safety window, they were kind of hit with some people second mortgages, some people balloon rates added on to the back of their mortgages, just all different types of things that I think created like loopholes for banks to kind of take advantage of a situation, because guess what? Most of the larger corporations and businesses got bailouts. They got someone, they had the government to help undergird their monies. And the lay people, while did get something, and those little checks and here and there, but it's not going to cover months and months and months of homes with no income or no renters or, so, so for me, the important thing was to be able to maintain it kind of with or without a tenant, and thankfully so far, yes, there have been rough patches. Being an owner, you're going to go through things with tenants, but thankfully, nothing too detrimental thus far. It's all been pretty manageable.
Good, 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 good. Well, sounds like you have a good foundation. So, what would be some major tips when people are thinking about stepping into this arena? Would you
Mhm.
start them off maybe like five top things? 3 to 5.
Five top things. Definitely know your budget. Figuring out what you can afford is always major. Um, don't take no as the final answer, because a lot of people are going to say no, but that doesn't mean that that is the only way. I didn't find my way into owner financing and all that stuff because I've heard a lot of people say no, but I just needed the few that I got to say yes, and that opened me up to all the doors that I have. So not everyone is going to say yes, so be okay with the no, but don't stop at the no is my number two. Number three, definitely don't jump in all the way into owning if you don't have a secure foundation for yourself and your family, because business is risk. I always say no risk, no reward, but you have to recognize that you still have to live. And if you have to live, starting off with having your job continue to do what it does, and this be a little side thing until you grow it into something that you can live off of, then you do that. There's no shame in that. I still work a full-time job and stuff. So, I mean, I don't expect anyone to be like, oh, I just jumped out there. You need to know what you need for your family and making sure you make the decisions that are best for your family and not what society puts out. And that comes into number 4. Social media is fake. you know, People only give you all of the pros. They don't really give you the reality of what really happens and all the different nuances. Sometimes you get some back insight glances and some backdoor visual, but the processes, the length of time, all those things, people are always going to want to put their best foot forward.
Right.
And so while things are great in that picture is a nanosecond in their entire life of time. So making sure that when you do things or when you invest in things or when you jump into things, that they're based on factual information, not just an image that was put before you. And 5, believe in yourself, believe in yourself to do it. I heard this girl on the internet about being delusional, and I was like, being delusional. But I think you have to have confidence in yourself enough to say, I think I could do it. And, and believe in that. I'm not going to lie. Initially, when I started out, I think my delusional counterpart was my mom. Don't laugh at me, Ayanna. She was. Because, like, if I call my mom and I said, I saw this building, I really like it. And I don't think I got all the money yet, but I got something. What do you think? And she'll always tell me, like, listen, try it. See if it works. She said, go ahead. I think you could do it. And I think after the third time of her saying it, I just started doing it. Like, okay, I don't even need her to tell me no more. But she helped give me, like, I'm like, well, my mother said I could do it. I could do it. And I'm going, and sometimes you need that cheerleader behind you. I got my best friend, Yana, she gonna have me. So sometimes if it's not my mother or my sisters, I call my best friend and I like, best friend, guess what? This is what I'm thinking about. And thank God she's a genius in finance.
Right.
She helps me run the numbers. She'll be like, okay, well, best friend, let's talk about the reality of these numbers, but what I love about her, she never kind of dims my shine. She's just kind of like, all right, if you think you're going to do it, all right, I'm rocking. What we doing? Like, okay, and sometimes I take the risk. And sometimes I'll be like, all right, maybe I need to wait on it. But
Mm-hmm.
what I will do is, I believe in myself enough to try. Because I
Mm-hmm.
said, what can be the outcome? It's either yes or no.
That's right. That's right. And if you don't try, the answer will be no.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
And
The
then you stuck with your shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's like maybe I could have,
right, right.
whatever. I would say my investment that I pay off next year, Yana, I bought that house for $55,000, and it's paid off next year in full, and it is valued at 150,000. I have been in Augusta less than 7. Well, I've been in Augusta 8 years, but I've owned that property less than 7.
Wow. That's awesome. And it's an overtime
Mhm.
type deal. You have to, you have to wait it out, but
Absolutely.
it's inevitable that houses are going to increase in value.
Yeah, the appreciation. I mean, I've been
Yes,
here
sir.
in Augusta, and I'm not gonna lie. I think if real estate has appreciated like 300-400% in such a short period of time in just this little city. And I was like, and I'm sure there are other little cities that afford these same opportunities. We may not be looking at them the same, but the deals are out there. And so I think if this is something that you're considering doing, definitely do your market research for your area, but don't deny yourself the opportunity because you feel like it's something you can't do. There is information out there, there are resources out there. You can pick the brain of realtors, inspectors, all types of people. If you're asking questions are free. And I know sometimes people are like, hey, if you want a consult, you have to pay it. But thank goodness for Google, there's so much free information now. You don't have to pay for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if you want some mentorship and some experience and expertise, then yes, you do have to pay for that.
That's right. That's right. Because if you want, like you said, everything is not free, and to get you where you need to be, sometimes it's like, yeah, you just have to pay for the catch up in time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and, and that somebody has proven,
Mm-hmm.
like yourself, have done it,
Yeah.
and you don't have to start from scratch with Google University, when you just say, let me pull my money together and pay Natalie to help navigate me.
Speed this a little up a little quicker.
Yeah, speed it up because I got less time here. So I need to get on the right track. That is
Absolutely.
all somewhere. Woo, I tell you, see, yeah, that's why I was like, do you have classes? Because people are going to be asking. So
Okay.
maybe there's something to think about. Yeah,
Yeah.
a whole
So
package.
I do want to let people know that, listen, when you purchase these homeowner finance, I do want to let people know that you want to make sure there's some things that you want to make sure of. You want to make sure that the person is the owner of the property. I
Mm-hmm,
want people to know that you still need to put down a down payment. There's still an interest rate. There's still a monthly payment. So there still are terms.
mm-hmm.
It does still go through an attorney, and I would always tell people to protect themselves with their own real estate attorney. You do all the things. The deed is in your name. It is your property, but I want people to recognize that it doesn't always have to only go through a bank.
Right. And as I said, this is a whole eye opener because people now have some options, and that's why I wanted to share about this, because people are looking to buy properties, they are looking to buy homes, and even getting into the commercial space. And sometimes it's just taking that leap and getting
Hmm.
out there, but knowing that the door isn't totally closed. If you say one avenue is no, that was not the only avenue, and
Yeah.
it's been proven that you don't have to stay in that one vein. There is another way to self
Absolutely.
finance to get it done. I love it. I love it. Thank
Thank
you
you. Thank
for
you.
for coming on. Now, before we leave, I know. Look, I can't. I look. She's a multi passionate person. So
Yes.
so with a multi passion, just throw in a little bit. Say after you have decompressed from looking at houses and getting self financed and bank finance and all that good stuff, then
Uh-huh.
she has something that will help soothe your brain. What?
Yes. I do. I have a loose leaf tea company. It's kind of like Tivana. So you buy loose leaf tea by the ounce or the pound. We have over 125 different blends, teas, organic and inorganic, and it is called the Urban Tea Room. We are online. We absolutely are shipping for the holidays. We also have creamed honeys. We have different types of mugs and cups and kettles and just all things tea.
Yeah, I just want to slide that in. I was like, ooh, because we can't, we have to, yeah, put it
I
all.
know it's the multi-passionate. I told my mother, I said, listen, 2025, I'm just going to be pouring tea. I'm going to go over here and sit down for a little while and just pour tea and be in my own little world. But I'm thankful for the opportunity today to talk a little bit about some of the things that I do and I love to do. So I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. We appreciate you for coming on Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, because I always tell people money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. And just sometimes we need to talk about it in a different way and to let everybody know that, hey, your money can talk for
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
you can get what you need, and there's a way to do it. So I appreciate that. So just hold on, and we'll close out and be right back.
Okay.
All right. You have heard some dynamic things today. I mean, just that main thing. If you're thinking about investing and all of that into real estate, this should have been the show for you. So make sure you go back and watch the replay, like, comment, and share, and send it off to your friends so that you can figure out what are the next steps that you may want to endeavor. And until the next time, this is Ayanna Smith with Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And remember, money is always talking. Even if we aren't talking about it, have a wonderful, wonderful evening.